Oh, my friends, I'll bet you didn't realize that you and I are an endangered species. That's right, we are. This is Howard Riell. The show is called Real Truth. And my friends, I kid you not. Check the news today. Item from theweek.com. Shortly after the shooting Wednesday morning at a congressional baseball practice, Representative Mark Walker, Republican, North Carolina, told NBC News it appeared the gunman was there to kill as many Republican members as possible. Walker, who was at the practice for the upcoming annual congressional baseball game in Alexandria, Virginia, confirmed he was shaken but okay. Representative Ron DeSantis, Republican, Florida, recounted a, quote, odd encounter he had as he was leaving the field just minutes before the shooting. Quote, there was a guy that walked up to us that was asking whether it was Republicans or Democrats out there, and it was just a little odd, DeSantis told Fox News. Related item from CBS News. Here's a tweet. Initial reports say the shooting suspect was a supporter of Senator Sanders. Unquote. My friends, remember when Donald Trump was running for president? His supporters would get together and they would be beaten in the streets. Remember when Milo Yiannopoulos wanted to speak at Berkeley and crowds gathered not only threatening his safety but destroying buildings, burning cars? Liberals are dangerous people. They're stupid people. They're very often delusional people. They don't mind lying, cheating, slandering, beating people up, shooting. That's their standard playbook because they feel they're entitled to get what they want no matter who has to pay for it. Which is one definition, by the way, of socialism. Tell that to Mr. Sanders. Republicans, conservatives are under attack. I mean, real, physical attack. We're seeing the end of free speech in America, the end of free thought, the end of free political discourse in this country. Funny thing about wars, the side that's fighting the war wins, when the side that's not fighting it doesn't fight it. I don't want armed rebellion in the street. I don't want reprisals, but at least come to an awareness that liberals are very, very dangerous folks. And if you push them too far, as we see, they will get violent. This guy apparently who was shooting at the baseball field, Bernie Sanders fan. Nice liberal, sweet guy, right? It's Wednesday. It's Real Truth, my friends. It's a disturbing Wednesday, but we'll be right back.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution. American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown reminds parents, keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become lost. This poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor. Please make every effort to keep track of your little ones at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown. For residential or commercial window tinting, call 303-263-4228. Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver reminded that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver. It's not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
All right, guys, I'm back. I don't know why you thought I was going anywhere. Howard Riell, Real Truth. Let's hear about the GOP baseball shooting here from earlier today. Rush Limbaugh.
Bernie Sanders supporter, 66-year-old James Hodgkinson, deranged and delusional, no doubt driven to some degree, as we've been able to ascertain by examining the Facebook pages of groups that he watches, joins, interacts with, as well as the media he consumes. He's from Belleville, Illinois. A CNN anchor asked the governor of Virginia today, the punk, Terry McAuliffe, said, how did he get here from Illinois? I'm not kidding. The anchor actually said, how did he get here from Illinois? What? Why was he here and not in Illinois? CNN is really, 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 really low-key today because they know. They know. I want to take you back to just yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, I essentially predicted this tragedy yesterday. They better be very careful because their base donors and their base voters, I don't think, can handle many more of these rising expectations and assurances that Trump is going to be put in jail, only to find there's no evidence he did anything wrong. At some point, these people are going to crack, and they're not going to just start cutting heads off of dolls, and they're not just going to start using fake knives to stab people in Central Park. And lo and behold, 24 hours later, less than 24 hours later, the gunman opens fire at a baseball practice involving members of the Republican Party. It's the annual baseball softball game between the Democrats and the Republicans. One of the last events of genuine bipartisanship and unity is this charity baseball game, and now that's been blown to smithereens. Mr. Hodgkinson is clearly, well, he has passed away. He was clearly deranged, and he was enraged and obsessed. Now, whenever something like this happens, let's remember a movie house shooting in Colorado. The first thing that Brian Ross at ABC News did was try to find out whether or not the shooter was a member of the Tea Party. And lo and behold, there was a Tea Party member somewhere in Colorado that had a name very close to the name of the shooter. So Brian Ross goes on the air with it at ABC News. So we can't be sure, but it looks like Gabby Giffords got shot. What happens? They blame Sarah Palin and then me. And by the way, I am being blamed for the shooting on C-SPAN today as the source of all of this partisanship, as the source of all of this rancor. It's me and Roger Ailes who are responsible for it, according to two callers on C-SPAN today. The sad and unfortunate fact is that, as evidenced by a soundbite of me yesterday, I have foreseen this coming. You can't continue to enrage people the way the left, and predominantly the media, has been doing. The Democrat Party and the left for years have been feeding this. And particularly since the election of Trump, they have virtually assured their supporters that Trump is guilty of treason. And every congressional hearing is going to provide the proof. Every one. Sessions yesterday, Comey a couple of times, Sally Yates, you name it. They build up these expectations that Trump is not really the president. He shouldn't have been. He cheated. He colluded with the Russians. There isn't any evidence for it. And so every time the left builds up an event where this is going to be established as fact and it blows up in their faces, it creates rising expectations followed immediately by rank disappointment and anger and letdown over the fact that it's not happening. And I think these people on the left have been driven to this extreme for quite a while. I have been worried about it for I don't know how long, and I've been telling you so. And we could do, if we wanted to, we could scour what we have. I can go back and show you tweets. I can read you tweets. I can read you statements made by elected Democrats and others promoting just this kind of behavior. Just this kind of behavior. You can find it if you look at the TV programs and the media personalities that this guy Hodgkinson was devoted to. You'll find out how radicalized he was by left-wing TV and comedy. Last week tonight with John Oliver, The Nightly Show on the Comedy Central, Democracy Now!, The Ed Show, The Rachel Maddow Show. Apparently he loved Rachel Maddow, wanted her to run for president. The Daily Show on Comedy Central, Real Time with Bill Maher. Those are the TV shows that he recommended everybody watch. Clearly he was radicalized. Now, I also want to say, probably started off this way. I don't know that this guy's ever been a rational, invisible, functioning member of a community, but at some point he got radicalized. And if you dig deep, you'll find, and we've got examples of it to share with you, this guy has become, he's the exact personification when I sit here and talk about the lunatic fringe base, the deranged base of the Democratic Party. This is the guy.
This is the guy, and this is the time to recognize that these are the people who present a terrible, terrible danger to the United States of America and all Americans. I kid you not. We're coming up on a break. Item from Breitbart. A global warming research study in Canada has been canceled because of unprecedented thick summer ice. Naturally, the scientist in charge, has blamed it on global change, unquote. He knew he'd sound too stupid, my friends, if he said the ice is thicker than ever because of global warming, and so he called it climate change. Global warming is a religion, my friends. It's the religion of the left, which is yet more evidence of exactly how loony the lunatic fringe on the left really, truly is. What do we do about him? It's not so easy. We'll take a break. We'll come back, my friends. More Real Truth today. I got plenty for you. Go nowhere.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom-tailored capabilities as modest as emergency lighting all the way to commercial-scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey package, custom-designed system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com.
The Lord leads the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the people of no advantage. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10 through 12.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network.
All right, my friends, we are back. Howard Riell, Real Truth. Just last night, Newt Gingrich. By the way, Newt Gingrich has a brand new book out. It just hit store shelves yesterday. It's called Understanding Trump. I'm not quite half done with it yet, and I'm here to tell you it's excellent. Newt is excellent. Trump is excellent. Here's Newt on Sean Hannity's radio show from yesterday. Let's listen to what they were saying.
She's got a brand new book out today. And by the way, Understanding Trump. He is going to be in Ridgewood, New Jersey tonight at 7 p.m. And, Mr. Speaker, we also look forward to having you on TV, which is always fun to have a rare in-studio appearance. And congratulations on the book, and we'll get to that in a second. But Ridgewood, New Jersey at Bookends, which is a great place to have a book signing. You said, can you think of one thing Trump could do worse than, the whole issue that this is a witch hunt with Robert Mueller?
No, look, I think it's amazing. And by the way, I thought that Jeff Sessions was just magnificent. And the way he stood up, pointed out both the difference between recusal over a specific issue and failure to run the FBI, which was his duty, pointed out that his personal integrity was being impugned. And I thought it was a tremendously compelling opening statement by the Attorney General. I was very, very proud of him.
Very compelling, but also his answer that we just played to Ron Wyden was particularly amazing, too. And it's like, this is now character assassination. The whole thing here seems to hinge on a very basic fundamental question that we now had answered last week. We know the president wasn't being investigated. We know that there was no collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. And I can play all the Democrats saying, well, no evidence of collusion, which I've done many, many times. And then one has to ask itself, why are we having the investigation at this point? Because we already know the answer, according to James Comey.
Well, the whole thing is astonishing. It hit me because I've been digging deeply into Comey's background and our experience of Comey in the past, and then how he manipulated the entire system to get Mueller to be the special counsel, and then Mueller hiring 4 Democratic lawyers, one of whom had worked for the Clinton Foundation, one of whom had a track record of concealing evidence from the defense in a way that is illegal. And it hit me as I dug into all this stuff that the real, remember, this is coming in a period where Kathy Griffin is holding up an image of Donald Trump's head bleeding. It's coming at a time when a New York public theater is showing the assassination of the president.
By the way, we found out, by the way, just a little while ago that this assassination theater group did, in fact, collect millions of dollars in taxpayer grants after days of reports claiming taxpayer dollars weren't used to fund Shakespeare in the Park, which, the depiction of President Trump as Julius Caesar suffering a bloody assassination.
Well, and my point is, you have to see everything that's going on in the context. I was reminded of Arthur Miller's extraordinary play, The Crucible, about the Salem witchcraft trial, because what you've got now on the left is the equivalent of the Salem witchcraft trial. These people know that Trump and that the Attorney General and that others are guilty. They don't know what they're guilty of. But it's literally the same kind of psychological emotion that Mueller portrayed so vividly in his play about the witchcraft trials in Salem back in the 17th century. And so you get this wave of weird stuff. And it doesn't matter what you say. I mean, for example, there's solid evidence that the Russian ambassador visited the White House 22 times. Well, he's the Russian ambassador. He's supposed to go visit the White House. But whether or not in a large group meeting, the Russian ambassador in passing actually saw Sessions, and then remember this whole report by Comey, and I think Comey is a maliciously destructive person. The whole way Comey framed it was based on what apparently is an intercept of the Russian ambassador sending a message back to Moscow, exaggerating his ability to have a conversation with Sessions. Everybody who was at the reception who showed up and said, no, this is simply totally untrue. And you get this again and again. And every time one of them gets knocked down, there are 2 new stories. And I'll be fascinated to see what comes out of it today, because I think Jeff Sessions, who's a very smart and very, very honorable person, is going to do more than enough to handle his former colleagues. And at that point, the left is going to have to find a whole new excuse for the hysteria that they're in the middle of.
You raised a couple of points. One is that Robert Mueller has stocked his staff with Democratic donors, and I think even more breathtaking than this is that Mueller hired the Clinton Foundation lawyer for this particular Russia probe. Now, this particular woman was somebody that, her name is Jeannie Ray, and according to Politico, she performed work for the Clinton Foundation, defending it from Freedom of Information Act requests related to Hillary's private email server. Now, if that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. I really don't.
I mean, I said today on one of the shows as we were launching.
What do you mean there is no other show by my show?
Well, when you're a struggling author, do the best you can to get off the ground. You got to go where you can go, you know?
By the way, the book is phenomenal. If you can stay longer, by the way, tell me.
Sure, I'm happy to.
Okay, good.
Because I'm thrilled by understanding Trump. But I said to one of the audiences earlier today, if Mueller wants to prove that we should genuinely respect his neutrality, what if he established a rule? He has to hire one pro-Trump lawyer for every pro-Clinton lawyer.
I can't believe that nobody besides me seems to have picked up on this. You know Sarah Carter from Circa News. Sarah Carter, this is probably the most unbelievable story. Describes a situation of a confrontation, now beyond Bill Clinton on the tarmac with Loretta Lynch. Apparently the FBI director Comey got information from two politicos that actually suggested that Loretta Lynch had already put the kibosh on any possibility of any Clinton indictment, that she was in the tank for Hillary. He confronts her. She says nothing but looks at him with steely silence, according to the testimony that apparently took place in closed session. And is that not obstruction of justice? Does that not warrant an investigation in and of itself?
Well, by the way, to her credit, Senator Feinstein, the senior Democrat in the Intelligence Committee, has said publicly that she believes clearly that Attorney General Lynch has to be investigated, and that this whole thing really is so bad that she wants to see something done to dig much deeper. I think it's a commentary on the Republicans just not being adequately aggressive and thinking in terms of having energy and following up, that nobody on the Republican side has said, Senator Feinstein is exactly right. And we should do, on a bipartisan basis, what Senator Feinstein has recommended. I mean, it just can't be that hard to do that.
It really shouldn't be that hard to do that. You suggested Congress put an end to all of this. I think that the president has 5 enemies now that he's dealing with that all want his destruction. Number one, the deep state. As his attorney said, the selective leaking on this president of top secret intelligence information is unprecedented. Number 2, Democrats, as you point out, wake up every day. They still can't believe they lost the election, and they wake up with the thought, how do we destroy the president? Number 3, a deeply lying and corrupt news media that not only colluded with Hillary in the campaign, they've been out to destroy him from day one. Then you've got weak Republicans who won't take your suggestion and fight back because, frankly, this whole special counsel needs to be shut down now. And then you got the never Trumper people, the 5 groups, and they want relevance and they want to be able to say to the world, see, told you. So I don't know, at this point in time, where are his allies?
Well, I've been recently, ever since I began speaking up late last week about the sickness of Comey and Mueller and this whole thing, I've got a surprising number of Republican congressmen and senators contacting me and asking me to get more involved in talking about what we should do to get back on offense. And I think that there's a lot bigger hunger for having a positive approach that reaches beyond the current cycle that people might have thought. I think we may be surprised to find out how many people are eager to have a chance to get involved and to do something positive.
Yeah, well, listen, I'll tell you the people that have been most offensive of the president that see this the way we see it are the Freedom Caucus members, and the very people that, it wasn't Paul Ryan that got the health care bill passed in the House, it was the Freedom Caucus. And I think it's beyond frustrating, Mr. Speaker, that we find ourselves in a position where we now have a special counsel that got appointed because you had a selective leak by an FBI director. In and of itself may be a felony committed by him. He might have violated the Records Act. He might have also violated 18 U.S. Code 4 in terms of, he had a legal obligation if he thought somebody was trying to obstruct justice, and he stood there shocked, and perhaps if he was stronger, he would have left. If he thought something was inappropriate, and he didn't leave, he selectively leaks government information, and then gets his mentor and his cohort, Robert Mueller, to be the special counsel, which he set out to do.
Well, and let me make a point here for all of our listeners, because I think this is one of the things that confuses Washington. Comey's part of the deep state, but Comey's part of the sickness. Nobody should be confused about this. And I'm going to give you two examples. Comey was deeply worried that when President Trump said something to him about whether or not General Flynn might be innocent, that it would have a chilling effect on FBI agents. Go back and read the exact text. Well, Barack Obama said publicly that he thought Hillary Clinton was innocent. Now, why is it that Barack Obama says, then President of the United States, says publicly he thinks somebody under investigation is innocent? That doesn't have a chilling effect?
By the way, can I just be a little bit of a wise ass, like I think you've known me all these years?
Oh, no, come on, you're not going to do this.
No, I got to do this. You know, if we're all upset about, governments influencing elections, which, by the way, we've had testimony, the Russians did it before this election, they'll do it after this election, and of course they tried to break in, but no votes were changed at all. But does it matter that Barack Obama used State Department funds to try and unseat, and used his political team to unseat an ally in Israel by the name of Prime Minister Netanyahu? I mean, did he not do the very thing that everyone thinks is they're so aghast and shocked by?
Well, and of course that's part of the whole problem of the modern world. But look, I don't want to in any way defend the Russians.
No, I'm not either. I'm just saying
Putin. But this whole gigantic double standard is more than astonishing.
All right, stay right there. Now, the brand new book is going to be at Bookends in New Jersey, Ridgewood, tonight at 7 o'clock. Bill Gingrich is going to give a talk, and then he'll be signing books, and hopefully...
All right, that stuff we don't need to hear, but the point has been made, my friends, made very eloquently. Item from Breitbart. According to reports, NBA champs, the Golden State Warriors, prepare to announce that they will refuse the offer to visit President Trump at the White House to celebrate their championship win this year. Unquote. My friends, tell me something. What is the minimal IQ requirement to play in the NBA? How smart does someone have to be in order to get signed by an NBA team? What's that you say? There is no IQ requirement to be in the NBA? I mean, these guys might just be tall meatheads who know nothing beyond high school, but they're commenting on the leadership of this country. They're making a political statement. Well, all they know how to do is jam a basketball through a hoop. Great. Item from InfoWars. Muslims and ISIS supporters on Twitter celebrated the London Tower fire that's claimed at least 6 lives so far, despite many of the residents of the tower being Muslims. Yes, really. Grenfell Tower is located in Ladbroke, an area of London populated mainly by poor ethnic minorities, many of them Muslims. Many of the affected families will be Muslim. Unquote. My friends, forgive me for one observation. I was watching on TV, I was watching this building burn. It was a towering inferno. It burned for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And it never collapsed, did it? Item from Breitbart. The number of non-immigrant visas issued to travelers from the 6 majority Muslim countries in President Trump's immigration executive order has dropped dramatically since Trump's inauguration. Of the foreign travelers who came to the U.S. from the 6 countries, 2,013 travelers came in April, down from 2,551 who arrived in March, a 21% decrease, according to roll call's analysis of a State Department report. That number is almost half the amount of travelers from those countries that came to the U.S. when former President Barack Hussein Obama was in office last year. Unquote. All together now, my friends. You ready? Here we go. Thank you, President Trump, for helping to make this country safer, even as liberal judges in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals are working to prevent you from making Americans safer. Even as liberals are trying to keep America as dangerous as possible, Donald Trump is still working for us. That's the inevitable, inescapable takeaway. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, my friends. This is Howard Riell, Real Truth. Stick around.
If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutrition
nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfoods from BioAge.com. And now take just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain, with focus, memory, clarity, and mood. If you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has 0 toxicity and is safe for you and your family. Learn more. Order your Bio Superfood formulas at BioAge.com. Spelled BIO.com. BioAge.com. Or call 877-288-9116. That's 877-288-9116. BioAge, the age of advanced organics.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom-tailored capabilities with modest and emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com.
Well, good evening.
And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Folks, welcome back to Real Truth. Howard Riell. Know this before you know anything else. This whole Trump-Russia collusion thing has been crap from the first moment. It still is. It's nonsense. It's propaganda. It's spin. It's lies. It's fake news. And those are the good parts. Here's Rush Limbaugh.
This is admittedly a protracted, elongated way of explaining to you that I never believed any of this. And those of you who are regular listeners know it. It's important for me to say this before getting into what I have discovered here, found that's astounding. I never, for a fleeting moment, I don't know how else to say this, I never believed any of this crap that the Russians colluded with Trump, colluded with Flynn, Sessions, anybody. I never believed a scintilla of the charge that the Russians had anything to do with the outcome of our elections. I never disputed they were trying. They always try. Everybody's always trying to influence the outcome of elections. Some people hack, some people try to hack. But I never believed for a moment, and my friends, what I have discovered here is that there are a lot of people on our side of the aisle who are just now beginning to consider that it's all been a lie. There are people on our side who have apparently believed some of this to one degree or another. I don't know if they're never Trumpers or Trumpists. I don't know. What's astounding to me is that there are apparently a lot of people on our side who believed. that Trump might have cheated, that the Russians might have tried to deny Hillary Clinton, that the Russians might have succeeded, and that all these hearings and all this news, there might be a grain of truth to it. And I have never believed it for a moment. There's another reason I've never believed it. The people pushing it. Obama embeds, the media, liberals everywhere, Democrats. I haven't believed a word of it because of those making the charge. So I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to mention the blog because that's not what this is about. I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm not trying to. That would be a distraction, because this to me is not about a single individual or a blog site. What's astounding to me is that people on our side, for how long, have been thinking there might be something to this, when I have known, in quotes, that there is nothing to this. Never has been. And it's not that I know anybody. It's common sense. It is a full-fledged understanding of the media and the left. And it's just simply paying attention. There was no Russian hackery when Hillary was thought to win. The whole thing is manufactured. Evidence is being manufactured and planted. This should have been rejected months ago. There is literally nothing here. But I found a blog post today with a question. One question which seems to still be off limits for most of the mainstream media is the really ugly one. What if this whole Russia thing turns out to be a dry hole? I saw that. I said, are you kidding me? We're just now considering that? Much of the speculation swirling around this entire saga has been based on anonymous sources supposedly spilling secrets about Oval Office conversations or supposed Russians hiding behind the potted plants. What? With all that smoke, there certainly must be a fire, right? Having hearings was supposed to clear up all these questions. We were supposed to get to the bottom of it. Take, for example, the widely reported and frequently repeated assertion that the Attorney General had a third unreported meeting with the Russians at the Mayflower Hotel. That's been stated so often that it's basically become an article of faith on CNN and MSNBC. But yesterday, Sessions was asked about it, and he simply said, no, there was no third meeting. It is a good example. All this time, they've been thinking Sessions is now guilty. They've run news. Sessions is going to be found guilty at the hearings. He's going to commit perjury. He can't avoid committing perjury. Sessions is going to jail. Sessions was the colluder. Sessions was the guy taking the secret. This is what they were reporting, and people believe this. Not on the Democrat side, our side. So the blog post asks, what happens now? Unless the New York Times can produce some video, or at least a credible witness who saw Sessions sneaking off into the cloakroom with the Russian ambassador or one of his henchmen, well, this Sessions thing is pretty much a dead end. And that's falling into a pattern with so many other aspects of the entire tapestry of allegations against Trump. A group of allegedly nefarious traitors who were colluding with the Russians to cripple the American elections. Another blogger tackled what may eventually become the biggest question of all. What if it never happened? What if it was all a fictional tale assembled by the... What if? What if? I'm astounded. I don't want to sound... I'm astounded that the reason why this bothers me is that I have been wondering why there is so little pushback. Why with every media leak of supposed damaging information, why do so many people on our side report it excitedly? And now I understand there's lots of people on our side don't like Trump. I understand lots of people on our side wouldn't mind if Trump were frog marched out, sent to jail, or impeached and sent back to Trump Tower, what have you. But the thing that bothers me about all this is Trump isn't the enemy. If it isn't obvious within the political realm who our real enemy is, then we have a major problem. Now, I understand some people may find it just impossible to circle the wagons and defend Trump because they think he's such a reprobate or whatever. But whatever Trump is, and whatever Trump's done, it pales in comparison to this hoax. Well, whatever you want to call this. The lives that it potentially could destroy, the reputations that it is destroying, the tumult that it's causing, the paralysis that it's causing, which is, I think, one of the objectives.
Russia's right on. Paralysis is another word for obstructionism, which is the Democrats. They want to keep anything at all positive from happening in America. So if you people out there who voted Democrat, once again, I got to tell you, you're not that bright. But you can change your minds. Item from Breitbart. Immigrant parents are cutting the genitals of American girls in Democratic-run diverse Chicago, according to the Chicago Tribune. FGM for female genital mutilation, quote, is happening, but no one talks about it, said Chicago nurse and immigrant Elizabeth Riell, who was invited to live in the United States in 1990. She arrived at age 21 from the West African country of Burkina Faso and was a victim of FGM around the age of 7. According to the Chicago Tribune, women in Chicago said the tradition is a familiar one. They have friends who are cut as girls or friends who are considering the procedure for their own daughters. Unquote. My friends, this is Islam.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Earth. Well, it had to happen. Colorado legalized marijuana. Most people thought the Green Herb was a marijuana dispensary. Also, it was legalized on January the 1st, 2014. The same day we opened our new location at 4565 Kipling Street, 1.5 blocks south of I-70. There are 83,000 cars a day passing in front of our new location on Kipling Street, and most of them thought we were a marijuana dispensary. So we changed the name of our retail store to New Genesis Health, but we kept the name of our Green Herb Supplement.
Hello, everybody. Mark Levin here. Our number 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811.
You're to listen to the Healthy Nature Show with Linda Phillips every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Now, this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21. The associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter not be at the mind. No one anywhere is more noble, righteous, selfless, or courageous than our United States Armed Forces. These brave men and women and their families fit the bill for our freedom every day. Send a military care package today to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Highway 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they care.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. Let's get some more perspective. My colleague Mark Levin just yesterday talking about Jeff Sessions testifying before the Senate Intelligence Committee. Listen up.
I watched this Sessions hearing all 2.5 hours, and I thought to myself, why is this hearing even taking place? What is with these buffoonish senators? And I listened to the Democrats. Can they actually be this stupid? And what will the Republicans say? All this Russia interference with our elections. Where were the Democrats? Where was Obama? Where was Lynch? Where was Holder? Where was Kerry? Where was Hillary? Where were they? It happened on their watch. I mean, they want to know, Mr. Sessions, are you going to get to about Mr. Sessions? I've never seen anything like this. As they write over at Conservative Review, We had the wrong Attorney General testifying. It should have been Lynch. It should have been about her cover-up and obstruction with respect to the Hillary campaign, but also what steps, effective steps, did they take? Apparently not many, because now we're told the Russians tried to tap into 39 election systems in 39 states. Okay, and what did the Obama administration do about it? So we have this hearing today, and basically it comes down to this. Mr. Sessions, when did you last meet with a Russian? Did you ever meet with a Russian business person? Did you ever meet with a Russian national? He was asked. And he says not to his recollection. And sadly, what Sessions should have said is, I have met with a Russian if you include Bernie Sanders. Yes, Bernie Sanders. What's the difference? Did he have his honeymoon over there or something? Oh, yeah. And this Kamala Harris, she's obnoxious and not particularly bright. I need yes and no, yes or no, and yes or no. It doesn't work that way. Somebody's trying to explain an answer. And how stupid is this guy, Heinrich from New Mexico, and Angus King from Maine? Why won't Mr. Sessions answer all of our questions? Because, you clowns, it's called separation of powers. The Attorney General of the United States does not have the power to waive on behalf of the President executive privilege. And it's even more than that. When I served at the Reagan Justice Department, our position with respect to the Attorney General providing such information was the Attorney General is not your everyday or average cabinet member. He also provides advice directly to the President of the United States on legal matters. So in that sense, he's the President's lawyer. He's the President's lawyer, as well as the chief law enforcement official of the United States. So he has this hybrid responsibility. Now that doesn't mean in every instance he can withhold information, but it means it's a little bit more complicated. Moreover, why can't we get this document and why can't we get that document? It's not just a matter of getting a document. The documents have to be reviewed for their content. A document might be turned over, but certain parts of it might be redacted. Certain words, certain identities, certain sentences, certain paragraphs, or entire documents. Separation of powers. Do they not understand this in Congress? Of course they do. They want to create the impression of a cover-up. A cover-up of what? A cover-up of what? Now, the real star, and there was one at today's hearing, was Tom Cotton, hands down. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I thought the job of the Senate Intelligence Committee, I would say this to Chairman Burr, was to get to the bottom of the collusion issue. So why are they attacking Jeff Sessions? Why are they asking him how many Russians he's met, or if he's met any Russians? It's incredible. The same Democrats who got upset when, have you ever known a communist? Have you ever met a communist in the 1950s? Now it's Russians, and it's them. The Democrats who are concerned about it. But if the Russians were this aggressive, and there's no question they were, then why didn't the Democrat administration do anything effective about it? I will continue to ask that, and they're demanding that the wrong Attorney General ask questions. It should be Lynch. But let's play some of this, because most of you work for a living, or you have other ways of entertaining yourself. Some of this actually is entertaining. First of all, Jeff Sessions. Let's start this way. Cut one, go.
I did not have any private meetings, nor do I recall any conversations with any Russian officials at the Mayflower Hotel.
Now let's stop right there. Is this not crazy? Did you or did you not have any meetings at the Mayflower Hotel with a Russian? Well, why? Did they have R on their foreheads so I even know if they're Russian? Go ahead.
Did not attend any meetings at that event separate.
My friends, I won't belabor the issue. As Mark Levin says, this is complete stupidity. It's a waste of time, and the people doing it know it's a waste of time, and they're perfectly comfortable with wasting America's time because that's what Democrats these days do. Item from KGO in San Francisco. San Francisco Police Department says 4 people have been killed, including the gunman, after a shooting at a UPS facility in the area of 17th Street in San Bruno in San Francisco. 2 people were also injured. A source said the shooter turned the gun on himself after firing on the victims during the driver's morning meeting around the time of a shift change. He died at San Francisco General. Unquote. My friends, I have no idea who the shooter was, but I'll tell you one thing. It's Ramadan. Item from France24.com. The migrants pouring into Europe have changed routes. The crossing between Turkey and Greece is practically closed, but ever greater numbers are risking their lives to cross the Mediterranean between Libya and Italy. Unquote. The takeaway is there are people who tell you there are fewer migrants coming in. No. They're just coming in a different route. And so it's hard to count them. Item from Breitbart. The FBI is searching for a suspect in the manner of a U.S. Border Patrol agent who was found severely injured on the side of an El Paso sector roadway after having been kidnapped. My friends, the violence and the cartel horror from Mexico has long been slopping over into the United States of America. What do you say we send some of that violence and horror back? Go nowhere.
If you're taking 1, 2, 5 for nutrition supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfoods from BioH.com. And now take just 1 nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with 4 of the most nutrient dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain helps with focus, memory, plenty of food. If you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has 0 toxicity and is safe for you and your family. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at BioH.com. Spelled BioAGE.com. BioH.com. Or call 877-288-9116. That's 877-288-9116. BioH, the age of advanced organic.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. Elizabeth Locker Plan and Elizabeth reminds our listeners that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be approached at early age. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from Elizabeth Locker Plant, located at 366 Greenwich Street in Elizabeth, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalized HB and for complete custom process. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240.
Item from ActivistPost.com, Dateline, San Lorenzo, California. A heartening trend is growing on social media, showing that people are waking up to the state persecuting individuals over victimless crimes. The latest example of this trend comes from the Alameda County Sheriff's Department posting a photo of a deputy arresting a man for selling fruits and vegetables on the roadside and then attempting to justify it. When people read the department's justification, they lashed out peacefully to let them know that what they're doing is wrong. Legality does not dictate morality. The photo, which has sparked so much backlash online, depicts a deputy confiscating strawberries and mangoes while the man selling them sits on the sidewalk in handcuffs. Unquote. My friends, Donald Trump and many other people have pointed out rightly that we should have respect for law enforcement. But you know what? respect has to be earned. Enforcing these kind of laws does nothing to gain respect from the American people. Item. From Pakistan today, the recent terror attacks in London have affected Muslims in the same manner as all other citizens of the city, and terrorists do not discriminate between Muslims and non-Muslims in their attacks. Targeting of Londoners on the basis of their faith was unacceptable. These views were expressed by Metropolitan Police Commissioner Cressida Dick in an interview with a local media outlet on Sunday. In other words, the big crime that's happening in London these days is vilifying Muslims, right? Good Lord. Item from the Religion of Peace. NSW police are investigating after a group of men reportedly screaming Allahu Akbar entered a Western Sydney, Australia cinema, leaving customers rattled. Investigators were told 4 men yelled comments within 2 cinemas of the complex, causing some concerned patrons to leave the building. Unquote. My friends, if only some concerned patriots would have beaten the crap out of those 4 men. Item from Mediaite. It's been 1 year since the horrific Orlando nightclub terror attacks at the hands of a radical Islamic terrorist, and the Washington Post is still trying to figure out what could have possibly motivated the mass murder. On Monday, the Post published a strange column, flagged by the Washington Free Beacon this morning, that omitted any mention that Islamic terrorism played a role in the slaughter of 49 innocent people at the Pulse nightclub on that June evening in Orlando. In a piece titled, "A Year Ago, 49 People Died at Pulse Nightclub," today Orlando members, author Katie Metler, completely disregards the self-proclaimed motivations of the terrorist Omar Mateen. Metler refused to acknowledge any correlation between Islam or terror and the attack, instead choosing to point the finger at, quote, gun violence. My friends, Donald Trump has done a lot better job than I have getting the word out that before you can stop a threat, you need to be able to name it. The Washington Post is so busy manufacturing fake crap news and running their political agenda that they've forgotten the basics of journalism. I know 1 or 2 things about it because I've been a journalist for about 38 years. Islam was the central axis of that horrifying event a year ago. To leave it out of the story is criminal. Now, if there's an attorney out there who wants to make the case that the Washington Post is an accomplice to terrorism, I'm willing to listen. But it seems to me that as long as we expunge relevant facts, like the fact that it was an Islamic terror jihad attack, as long as we keep doing that, we make ourselves victims waiting for the crime to happen. Have we had enough of that? Isn't it time that as a country, as a society, we open our eyes, know who our enemies are, and then do something about it? I'll be back tomorrow, my friends, with more real truth. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, stay angry. Hasta luego.